this one will not be for the faint of heart, folks. I got a lot of great topics coming up for you guys, and it's gonna go down proper. All right. I got my man Brett in the hills. What up?
What's up, bro? How you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I hope everything is well with you.
Oh yeah, I can't complain. Had my daughter for the weekend. All is well.
Shout out to everybody that's watching right now. Shout out to the Rising family, of course. Shout out to OnPoint Network. This is going to be a riot. I'm just telling y'all right now. So you might as well get your popcorn ready. Get your friends, mama's friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles, nephews, nieces, aunts, and great grandparents onto this show, because how I start this show off and how we finish the show is going to be at the same wavelength from start to finish. I promise. If you want to get on here and you want some of the smoke, go ahead. It's 872-711-8027. That's the Zoom code. Get in here now. All right. And of course, we got to start off with the blockbuster. Wow. What a blockbuster. Great blockbuster news coming out of the NFL. The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs have signed Mr. Patrick Mahomes to the richest deal in all of sports. The richest deal in all of sports. So, of course, it wouldn't be right for me to play nothing but I get money, because my man just got a whole lot of money. Patrick Mahomes just signed and agreed to a 10-year, $503 million deal. That is astronomical numbers, folks. With all the incentives, all the juicy stuff. I know this has got to be playing in the speaker set right now. We're talking about $140 million just off of injury clause. We're talking about $50 million a year with all the incentives. Unbelievable. Put in the comment section right now, what would you do with $50 million? I just want to know, what would you do with $50 million? And there's a whole lot more to talk about on this story alone. Brett, what would you do with $50 million? $50 million a year.
That's a darn good question. Who knows?
Brother.
How many people see 50 mil a year? How many people see 50 mil in a lifetime?
Man, oh man. Listen, I'm hot in here just thinking about $50 million. I'm hot. Like, hot. Congratulations to Patrick Mahomes, by the way, because I think he's phenomenal. Generational talent. We knew that from the jump. Comes in, wins MVP, rookie season, throws 5,000 yards. Next year, just wins the Super Bowl. Could have been a two-time Super Bowl champ, by the way. Or a two-time Super Bowl visitor, by the way. Probably could have won MVP had he not been hurt last year, too. But this is what I'm going to say. Tell him for the culture you in here. How about you tag yourself in the Zoom right now? Now, there's a lot of questions behind it. Folks are like, did we pay Patrick Mahomes too much money? This isn't going to be good for him in the long run. Well, I will tell you this, and let's be clear. Let's start off with number one. Number one, this isn't good for Patrick Mahomes. Okay, you go tell Patrick Mahomes this isn't good for Patrick Mahomes and see what he says. Absolute bullying. Number one, this is a phenomenal deal for Patrick Mahomes. Okay, phenomenal deal. You know what this deal tells me? I'm gonna tell you. It tells me a couple things. Number one, he's elite right off the jump. He's elite. The elite quarterbacks stay in a franchise for 10 plus years at least. I mean, let's look at some of the other quarterbacks who've been there for 10 years who are elite. Tom Brady was with the Patriots for damn near 20. Elite. Aaron Rodgers been with the Packers playing for at least 10 to 12 years. Elite. Let's look at upcoming elite people like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's been playing there for years. Elite. Let's look at Drew Brees. Been playing there for almost 10 years. Elite. Matter of fact, he's been playing there for about 10 years. Elite. Patrick Mahomes is elite, and this is what it says: ELITE, folks. And I ain't talking about the Kenny Omega type of elite. I'm talking about the $503 million elite. Okay, that's what type of elite Patrick Mahomes is. By the way, number two, this also tells me that the Kansas City Chiefs are locking in on their investment. We ain't got time to play around. We ain't about to let Kevin Durant leave the Thunder and go to the Warriors. Hello. We gonna pay him the kitchen sink and everything that comes with it right now. Let's do it while it's getting hot. All right. So that's number two. Now, number three. There's one other thing. There's one other thing that this tells me. This tells me that the Kansas City Chiefs are super methodical at what they do. Because now a question comes into play. What in the hell are you paying Dak Prescott? How about that, Cowboys? What you gonna pay Dak Prescott now? What you gonna pay him? Because my man over here, Patrick Mahomes, just got $50 million. $50 million. Goodbye, you a lot. Yeah. What's up, Melissa? Kelly for the culture, brother. I be rushing to tag everybody. I apologize, brother. But I'm glad you're here, nevertheless. Like and share the show. Go ahead, put your stamp on the show. I want you to come on in here if you want to as well. I got Ethan Tweedy in the house too. What's up, Bills Mafia? I see you in here.
What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? All right.
What's up,
that's
Ethan?
Other than the Super Bowl MVP getting paid.
Yeah, sure. Listen, I think you heard how I started off the show. The brother is getting paid.
That's okay. Yeah, he definitely.
He's getting paid. That's all that matters. He's getting paid. Okay. Let me read some comments.
$530 million over the next 12 years. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not including the 2-year deal that they owed him. The 21.
No, that's that's what I mean.
24 and the 6. Yeah. Oh, we got it. $530 million. Unbelievable amount of money for 12 years. All right.
Now, here's gonna be repercussions of this. This is I know this is a thing we bring up a lot, but now that there's gonna be repercussion to this is Mr. Prescott. If he has a really good year, he's gonna want even more. He's gonna want more than that. So. And that's what
I was just speaking to 5 seconds ago. Cowboys fans, what y'all paying Dak Prescott? I just want to know. This is going to be
right now 31.
Quite hilarious to find out. I have to know. I mean, Jerry, can you send us a tweet or something? You like to be on Twitter. Send us a tweet. How much are you going to pay? All right. So, I think that the deal was phenomenal, especially the fact that he has an opt-out clause in it. And I'm sure, just in case if the market decides to get more than $50 million to a quarterback, I'm sure there's a clause in there, some language that says, hey, Patrick, you can restructure your contract. I'm almost sure. Okay? So this is a great deal. For those who don't believe it's a great deal, you're nuts. All right? You're absolutely crazy. But the second thing is, with every positive, there's a little negative.
Mm-hmm.
My only question now is, how will the Kansas City Chiefs budget the rest of the team? Because obviously, when you pay a player 20 to 30% of your team's salary cap, when you got defensive lines to pay, safeties to pay, corners to pay, linebackers to play, pass rushers to pay, Travis Kelce to pay, you got Tyreek Hill still on the team to pay. I mean, you're lucky you paid Sammy Watkins. And others to pay. I'm wondering, will Patrick Mahomes still have the same weapons in play to be able to be productive with the team that he is on? Because I think that's going to matter when you're paying $503+ million to a guy for the next 12 years. All right.
You read my mind, Dre. I don't know. I don't know. That's a lot of money to be paying one player when you got. I don't know how much longer the Chiefs are going to be able to keep weapons around them. I know the cap's going up somewhat, but it's not going up that much. So
that, and like I was thinking about earlier, after that news broke, how much higher do you think Chiefs make their tickets to go to their games now?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, you got to think about that too.
Probably more towards next year, because this year, who knows if there's even going to be fans in attendance.
Well, that's an interesting thought. That's very interesting that you brought that up. I brought that up on Sunday about teams being able. The NFL has said that they will allow the owners to make decisions on how to handle who's going to come in the stadium as far as signing a waiver.
Apparently not if you're in New York, though.
Well, that's Governor Cuomo. We won't talk about him right now. He ain't
that's another subject for another day.
That's right, and I don't want to give Governor Cuomo too much airtime as well. But that also makes me ask this question, folks. And here's the question: obviously, if Patrick Mahomes retired today, would you vote him in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, I would.
He's a 2018 NFL's MVP, Super Bowl 54 champ, Super Bowl 54 MVP, 28 record including the playoffs, 89 touchdowns, 20 interceptions including the playoffs, and he has the highest quarterback rating ever in NFL history with a minimum of 1,000 passes. Would you put Patrick Mahomes in the MVP conversation? And while we're doing that, while you're thinking about that, Brett, you can answer that. I want to shout out Marcus Betts, who's in the building. Melissa, who's in the building. What's up? I'm guessing Kansas City gonna hope they can keep all their players for peanuts. Said Ramona died. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Dak will never get as much as Pat. Yeah, I know you know that.
There he is.
You better know that.
Brett, get your answer.
Of course, the Alpha's in the building. Alpha. Marcus, what's good?
What's up, Marcus?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
I like Mahomes' pockets.
Hey, I keep telling y'all when y'all are like, oh, when we're talking about quarterback paydays, this is what I'm talking about. When you give a guy like that, when you give a guy money like that, you better be sure. You better be sure. When you give it, I say it, you hear me say it all the time. If you're giving a guy 15 to 20% of your salary cap, he better be the goods.
Definitely better be the goods. For sure.
If you don't, you're going to be in salary cap hell for a long, long time. And as far as with Patrick Mahomes, everybody's talking about, I heard people saying, well, what about how they're going to surround him with weapons? Okay. I think Mecole Hardman, this is his second year. This will be his second year. They just paid Tyreek Hill. They just drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So their offense, they just re-signed Sammy Watkins. So they should be good for about 2 or 3 more years with the salary cap.
I agree, they should be. But remember, offensive lineman. Ramona Guy just mentioned it. Offensive lineman. TC Casey said he's the real deal. Des, what's up, brother? Jared said, "Oh hell no." Oh yeah, Ramona, I got you. Melissa said, "Please don't." Huh? So they gonna make fans pay for this boy. Said Ramona. Ramona got me cracking up right now. Ramona is in the building, heavy on the comments. What's up, Deborah, baby? Like and share the show, please. Make sure
But
you do such.
here's the thing, though: the salary cap goes up every year, and like I said, a lot of their really good players are locked up. So at least for the next like 2 or 3 years, they should be good. I mean, you're looking at a team who could very well win the next 2 Super Bowls. I mean, what did they lose on offense? What did they actually got better on offense? They got better on offense. I mean, let's not forget Shady McCoy. He didn't even play. He was like a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl and in the NFC Championship game. He was a healthy scratch. Damian Williams, I thought he should have been the Super Bowl MVP. And then you go out and draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round. I mean, this team is built. This team is built. Patrick Mahomes is 23 years old, guys. Patrick Mahomes is 23 years old. Mecole Hardman is 22 years old. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is 21 years old. So, now Kelsey, he's a little he's getting up in there, but I mean, look, you can't have steak everywhere. Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells used to say that you can't have steak everywhere. But I think they are built for the long. They're built for the long haul. So I feel like the AFC West, y'all are going to be like the AFC East used to be. Y'all got a guy who y'all going to have to see for the next 10 years, and y'all going to have to deal with this guy for the next 10 years. The only thing that can stop the Patriots, to stop the Chiefs, is injury to Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid. Andy Reid's diabetes and high cholesterol kicks in, and it offs him. But beside that, these guys, man, they got everything they need to go on not have a dynasty.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with a lot what you said. I think that offensive line are very important pieces, though. And again, you're giving Patrick Mahomes like 30% of your revenue, 35% of your revenue. I'm hoping that they can still have all the same weapons because that matters when it comes to production.
Here's what y'all got to understand about the next 2 years, though. Look, he still had 2 years left on his contract. They had already signed him. They had already picked up his 5th-year option. So that money's already accounted for. So like this year, he was supposed to make like, I don't know, like $10 million. So basically, you're really only paying him $20 million this year because that $10 million that he was going to get, 10 or 12 million that he was going to get paid this year, they just add that onto what you already had. They signed him 2 years early. So that's the good thing about that. That's what everybody's missing. They're not understanding is when you sign guys early, it kind of saves you because these guys, and you pick up their 5th year
option. The cap early.
Yeah. So I mean, this ain't really hurting. It's not hurting the Chiefs because they already accounted for that money anyways. They already accounted for him for the next 2 years anyway. They signed him 2 years early. He got drafted in 17, 18, 19, 20. So this would have been his 4th year. And then they picked up his 5th-year option, which would have been 2021. So that money's already accounted for. So don't think of it like they're signing him $40 million this year because they're not. They're really only signing him like $28 to $29 million this year because that money was already accounted for in their salary cap. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Sure enough. All right. So Marcus, answer the question. Would you put him in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, look, I'm not putting any after 5 years, after 4 years. No. What they would say about Patrick Mahomes is that, hey, this guy, he has all the promise in the world, and he, they would be talking about him kind of like the way that they talk about Andrew Luck. Although Andrew Luck played a little bit longer, like our expectations for Andrew Luck was to be like a franchise quarterback for 15 years, and he retired early. Now, yes, Patrick Mahomes did get that. He did get that, but you're not going to get into the Hall of Fame after 4 years. No. So no, to make it short, no, I would not put him in the Hall of Fame after 4 years. But he is certainly on a Hall of Fame trajectory right now. He has his look. Let's not get it twisted. He has as many Super Bowl rings as Aaron Rodgers right now. He has as many rings as Russell Wilson right now. He has as many rings as Drew Brees right now. Right now at 23 years old. So he's certainly on a Hall of Fame trajectory. But of course, I feel like we need to see more. Because what if he comes out? Not that it's very likely. What if he comes out for the next 3 or 4 years and just and plays like crap? Then what? Then what are we saying about him? Oh, he came out. Hall of Fame is about stats, and it's about longevity, and it's about consistency. It's the same reason why Joe Flacco will not go in the Super Bowl, and why a person like Eli Manning, even though he has 2 rings, is not going to get the same love, because there were some years that Eli Manning played terrible. You see what I'm saying? So that one Super Bowl in the first couple of years, that's not going to, if Ben Roethlisberger had retired after that first Super Bowl he won, would he be in the Hall of Fame?
Interesting comment. Woody, you answer.
I mean, I think he won his Super Bowl in his second year, first or second year. He was a rookie. That 2006, in 2005, 2006. They won that Super Bowl against Seattle, against Matt Hasselbeck in Seattle. If he had retired right then and there, would we say that would we call him? Would we say he's a Hall of Famer? Russell Wilson, when he won his Super Bowl, if he had retired right there, would we have put him in the Hall of Fame after that?
Interesting. All right, so moving right along, folks. Moving right along. This is Monday Night Madness. By the way, we are talking about the blockbuster move that just took place. Patrick Mahomes, $50 million. Good God Almighty, $50 million. All right, Melissa, what's going on? I see you in the comments. Yuri, hello. Everybody thinks he's the real deal. Yep. Devon Stanfield is in the building. What's up? Michael Williams, what's up? Robert Leader, what's going on? Lawrence Jones, what's up? All right. Jared, get your tail in here. I'm summoning folks on Monday Night Madness. Get on in here, Jared. Russ still needs work toward the Hall of Fame. So Russ, he don't even think Russ should be in there. So Patrick Mahomes shouldn't be in there. I was going to say, you know what? Because of this deal, man, I will put him in there right off the strength. That
there's only been a
he's not a Hall of Famer yet.
No, he's not. It's not. Now, like I said, he's certainly above the power curve right now. He's ahead of the curve right now. Winning a Super Bowl at 23 years old, I mean, you're certainly on your way. But they got everything that they need. Now, I saw somebody in the comment section. They said something about Chris Jones.
Yeah.
What if Chris? They franchise tagged Chris Jones. Man, I'm telling you, with signing Patrick Mahomes like this, I'm letting Chris Jones walk, dude. I'm letting them walk. I'm rescinding that tag, and I'm gonna go get somebody like Everson Griffin.
I'm at least trading him, since you technically have him on contract, so you might as well trade him.
Right.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, before you could trade him, you would have to get him to sign his tender, because technically he's not part of the Kansas City Chiefs right now. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, for you to trade him, he has to sign his contract. So if you want to trade him, he signs his contract, and then you can deal him. I'm trading Chris Jones. I'm trading him. And he was a hell of a player. He's a hell of a player. I'm going to go get a player that's cheaper on defense, maybe an Everson Griffin. Maybe I bring in a Clay Matthews Jr. for, the vet minimum. And I'm going to trade Chris Jones while he's got a lot of draft value. And then in the draft next year, I'm going to go get me some defensive help.
I feel like they've also the last couple of years have been picking up these random D linemen in like the second, third, and fourth round that they've been grooming. So I mean, I feel like they'd have guys to at least fill a role for the most part.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the team building, the way some teams build their teams. Like Kansas City, they're an offensive team. They've loaded up on offense. I mean, think about it. They have probably 3 or 4 of the top position guys at their position on their team. Travis Kelce's a top 2 tight end. Tyreek Hill is what? Top 5? Top 5 wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes probably the best quarterback. You know, as long as you keep
Tyrann Mathieu, top 5 safety.
Top 5. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, on the offensive side, they have so much offensive firepower that their defense just has to be. Their defense wasn't great last year. It had just been so bad that whenever they did start playing better, it made them look so good. But their defense wasn't like elite by any means. It's Kansas City's mantra is our best defense is a good offense. They're like the Oregon Ducks in college, like. Back
it didn't help that once their defense really started playing well that their free safety got hurt, so that didn't help.
Yeah.
Right. Surely didn't. All right. Well, we are already in the first half of our first 30 minutes of our show. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And when we return, we got a whole lot more to talk about, all right? You watching Monday Night Madness. Putting too much into it. Yeah. Let's get this fire started. Sports became my passion. Time will bring it to life, highlighting all the action. Opinions explode like a chemical reaction. If we started from the bottom, now rise up the newest caption. Man, it's known that every team and every person got an emphasis. But there's a similarity that trumps all of our differences. Statements can get real, better back it up with evidence. Prove it for the record, watch this hour of deliverance. Haters outside the lines, but we do it quite frankly. Cause I'm around the horn, so just hard to interrupt it. Cause I hate that they be threatened. Cause I unwanted production, plus I gotta do it all. And it ain't up for discussion, man. And blood, sweat, and tears, man, they measure up my height. All right. We back with Monday Night Madness. I got your boy in the building. Pylon to pylon. Jared, Mullen, what's up?
What's going on? How are we doing tonight?
I got the Alpha Marcus Betts in the building, and we have just been talking about the blockbuster move in Patrick Mahomes and everything positive with that, and how we are super elated with that situation in Patrick Mahomes getting paid $50 million a year on average. $503 million. It would be probably $530 for 12 years. So again, we asked the question for those who missed it: was Patrick Mahomes Hall of Fame worthy already? We all think it's too early. And with that being said, the first half an hour was dedicated to my boy Patrick Mahomes from the Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations to you. I hope you know what to do with $50 million a year. And let's move on, because we got a whole lot more to talk about. This show is just getting started. I need y'all to like and share, because it's about to get crazy. I promise you. All right.
See, I didn't even know football moved on to being able to have baseball contracts now. That was what was so surprising to me. I've never seen past 7.
Right, absolutely. Now,
You know who gets contracts like that?
The Yankees.
No, unicorns.
Yeah.
Unicorns get contracts like that.
unicorns. Now, talking about numbers. Look at the NFL standings. Oh, some things we got to talk about here, folks. Ooh wee! Did this not just put a whole lot of damper on a lot of folks? I want y'all to like and share this, by the way. I don't want y'all to leave. I don't want y'all to get mad. But we got to talk about it.
Oh,
Okay.
no, they ain't gonna share that. They ain't gonna
Put
share that.
a damper on my entire state of New York, pretty much.
Yeah, they ain't gonna share. They ain't gonna share that one.
Yeah. So, obviously, as we knew, the Patriots, 135. The best team of the decade, obviously. No question. Number 2. Guess who is number 2?
It's a tie between the Packers and the Steelers.
Yeah. The Packers is number 2 because we got one less loss. So go Pack Nation, if you out there. We've been number 2 for the decade. And folks be trying to sit up here and rag on us. Number 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4, the Seattle Seahawks, folks. Number 4. Number 5, the New Orleans Saints. All right. Number 6, the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would have ever thought? Number 7, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Imagine having 86 instead of 87.
Actually, it's really the Denver Broncos. 89-71 to 87.
Tied with the Falcons, yeah.
Yeah. And the Falcons. Where's Ron Thomas when you need him? Good news for Ron Thomas and the Atlanta Falcons. All right. But there are some teams. Oh, you know what? We skipped one. The Baltimore Ravens. How did we skip the Ravens?
Oh, yeah, 98.
Ravens being number 7 on this list. Number 6 on the list. Past the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs number 7. But we got some teams to talk about on this list. How about,
we got a division to talk about on this list.
Yeah.
And when I say it, I'm hating on the whole AFC East. When I say stuff, we're showing it to you where you can actually see it. For all you people that are a little bit excited out there and counting your chickens before they hatch and bragging about what your team is going to do, it's like, look, man, it's like let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic.
Marcus, don't be drinking the Kool-Aid now.
I ain't drinking
South's been the worst.
I'm just telling you. Look, when you and I've said this a million times, and when I said it, people are, oh, you're hating on the Bills. How do you let one team just they're 50 plus games ahead of the next team in their division? And I had asked a question a few months back. If you put the New England Patriots in the NFC East over the past 20 years, past 10 years, if you put them in that division, if you put them in the NFC West against the Seattle and San Francisco, do they win 120 games? I'm asking y'all.
I think the problem lies if you switch the Patriots, especially to another conference, it changes so much of history because they've impacted so much in this last decade that it could change a lot of things. So you really don't even know who would be on what teams.
They had a cakewalk, and that's not taken away from the Patriots dynasty. And yes, there's some questionable stuff with the Patriots, but the bottom line is the Patriots is one. is the greatest dynasty in football history. That's over the Cowboys. That's over the 49ers. That's over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bottom line, 6 championships in 20 years. 6 champion, and part of it's because they're getting they're getting a number 1 or number 2 seed every season on average. They're hell they have the division wrapped up by like week 12. They got the division wrapped up.
All right, so let's talk about some other teams too. There's a couple that stand out in particular. The Cleveland Browns. Why did they even put them on this list? The Jacksonville Jaguars. Why did they even put
AFC South have been the worst.
Sure.
Division.
The AFC South and the NFC East we talked about heavily. I mean, you look at the AFC, look at the NFC East. 87 wins is the most wins in that.
That's because that division's always so competitive between the 4 teams.
That's because the win. Hang on, don't you start, Dre. Yes, they have 87 wins because every team in our division has won a division championship. One team's not winning 13 games every season. So there's a reason behind it. It's not because they're not good.
Well, that's kind of interesting because the Giants are 20 games below 500. The Redskins are 35 below 500.
Okay, and in that span there, they have a Super Bowl win knocking off Tom Brady.
Well, not since 2010. Remember, this is for the decade. 2010, 20. No, they don't.
Okay. 2010, what was it? 2010 to 2019. That's 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
It's one of the only divisions that's had a contender for at least 1 or 2 years.
Right.
Out of every single team in the division.
Oh,
every other team, at least every other division, pretty much has one bad team.
And let's not forget the worst team in our division that hadn't won a Super Bowl just won a Super Bowl and beat the Patriots. The NFC.
Whoa! I thought you were going Redskins when you said worst team in the division. Hold on.
Well, no, what I'm saying is what I'm saying is the Eagles were the last team in the division to win the Super Bowl, and they beat the Patriots. Tom Brady has 3 losses in the Super Bowl, and all 3 of his losses are to the NFC East.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's actually interesting to think about too. Which divisions don't have all their teams have won a Super Bowl?
Every team in the NFC East has a Super Bowl championship.
Ron Thomas, what's up, my brother from Atlanta? He just popped up as we got finished talking about Atlanta being the 8th best team on his list for the decade.
It is. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Feels good, don't it,
Ron? Huh?
Feels good, don't it, Ron?
No.
Oh, no.
They got a nice chunk of regular season wins. I'll give them that.
Regular season, you don't get no win after the regular season. You don't get no Super Bowl trophy after a regular season game.
Yeah.
That's true. Very true.
So, we win games, but we cannot win the big game.
You're right, though. But to get to the playoffs, you got to consistently win 9, 10, 11 games.
Well, I will say this. There is another team that stands out to me, and it's the Indianapolis Colts.
I don't.
The Colts.
Most of their wins came from Andrew Luck, having Andrew Luck. But
when did Peyton Manning go to the Broncos? 12, right?
When did he go? 2011.
Yeah,
12.
So that means Andrew Luck played the whole entire
Yeah.
of the decade. Yeah. Well, that interests me a lot. The Colts only having 4 wins better than 500, and the Texans are right with them. That's quite interesting to me. The Titans, obviously. The Chargers, that's kind of interesting too. The Raiders have been just god awful along with the Jets. Matter of fact, the Raiders have been even more awful than the Jets. So take that in stride. Those Raiders fans, maybe this decade will be a better decade for you. The Buccaneers over here, trash.
Yep.
Dumpster juice.
They may be back though. We better
No,
speak nicely about them.
no,
Who's that? Who's that?
The
Bucks.
Buccaneers.
We better relax with them because they might be nice.
just because you look good on paper don't mean no.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. We better be wary just
You
in
still
case because
gotta put
they got a
in.
damn good roster.
I like how the Chicago Bears, 76 and 84, and they're only 4 games better than the Lions.
The Lions stink.
Because the Lions have had some good years.
Oh,
But
Brett's not here anymore.
The Lions have had some good years. What really hurt, but you were talking about the Browns. Let's not forget the Browns were like they were 1-31 in 2 seasons. They won 1 game in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So
You got to
that
compare the Browns to their own decades, like this decade compared to last decade Browns. They can't even compare with the rest of the league.
The problem is with the Lions that
They stink.
they fall off when they play the big games. Yeah,
Well,
they need one game to get.
I'm going to say something. This is going to be, look, this is against my own team, okay? They should have at least one more playoff win. In that 2014 season, my Cowboys, they got a gift. And I tell my Cowboys fans that on that no call, that pick up the flag on the pass interference. And then the next week, the Cowboys they lost to the Packers in the Dez no catch game. But we shouldn't have even been in that game the next week because we should have lost to the Lions the week before.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you admit that because a certain Cowboys fan doesn't want to admit that totally. Time to shine. His name is Time to Shine. Tell him.
Look,
Tell him.
I remember I was in tech school for that whole thing at Lackland.
That's the football gods, man. You get bad calls, and you receive bad calls. That's how it works. Y'all remember when the Packers and that toss-up game, whenever Aaron Rodgers threw it in there against the Seattle
to Richard Rodgers?
Yes.
The Hail Mary? Yeah.
Yes. You get calls, and when people are, oh, my team's always getting back. You get calls, and then you get calls that go for you. You get some calls that go against you.
That Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary finds its way to its receivers often, though. Like that, it's not like it's a coincidence at this point. I'm convinced.
Which is something I told Tom to shine last week as well.
When have we ever seen that from any other quarterback?
You haven't. You haven't. It just hasn't happened.
That just so happens to keep making those Hail Mary completions that nobody makes, period.
4 times, though. 4 times.
It's crazy. Some people never do it.
Right. And I think he did it 3 times in one season, by the way. And
he did 2 in one game.
2, yeah. So, the one last team I want to talk about before we move on to this next topic, which is a real hot one, is I just want to point out that the 49ers are 80 and 79. And if they actually had a Super Bowl win, that record might look a little bit better. A little bit better if they had a Super Bowl championship.
Well, they had that one season. Like this is what people got to understand. What really messes up your records are when you have a god awful year. That's like those 4 and 12 years. The 49ers, the 49ers, the reason that the reason that the 49ers have that that 80 and 79, let's not forget just 2 years ago they were 4 and 12. That's how they were able to get.
That's what I was saying about the Colts with luck.
I just want to say that T.C. Casey is acting a fool in the comments. He said the Lions have more wins than the Bills. LOL. He is acting up in the comment section. I'm moving along.
Real quick though, when people say it's one thing, but it's hard. There's no denying it when you see it on paper or you see it on a screen. A lot of people, I ain't gonna mention no names or nothing. I ain't gonna mention no names or no initials. Some people,
air them out. Monday Madness. Air them out.
Some people, they are like in denial when it comes to certain things. It's like that saying goes: the eye in the sky does not lie. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. There's the
numbers do
right
lie,
there.
though. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Huh?
They do
numbers
lie.
can definitely lie.
Do they? Look.
Oh yeah, you see those blind comparison pictures I hate so much because there's no context to them. It's just stats.
Yeah.
And then you
Look,
find out like the
look,
person with the worst stats is actually much better.
Look, this is really easy. Now you look at the AFC East. This is over 10 years, right? For a decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do the Patriots have? 125 wins?
125.
That means that that means that they're averaging 12 and a half wins a season.
But Marcus, now be honest, that was a weak division for a long time. Yes or no?
Yes, I'm agreeing, but I'm just saying
They've never had to worry about more than one team in that division at a time, which is not the same as any other division.
You're winning 12 and a half. You might as well say nearly 13 games a season. So they're going. You know, they go in their division. There's 6 games in their division. Let's say they go 5-1, 4-2. I mean, hell, that's a pretty nice start right there. Just in your division, you go 5-1, 6-0, 4-2 in your division. Hell, you have the division. You have the division wrapped up by week 12, week 13. You sit your players down. They get to rest. They get a bye week in the playoffs because they're the 1 or 2 seed. And then you get a fresh team, and then you get to play against the Ravens or the Steelers after you have a week of rest.
Ramona Dye has got me cracking up. She said statistics are like bikinis. What they reveal is suggestive, but what they conceal is vital. With that being said, it is vital that we move on. We are already 45 minutes into the show. And we want to move on. Actually 50 minutes into the show, and we want to move on to the next topic. And the next topic is, oh boy, yeah, we had to do it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. You wanted it to go away? Did you want it to go away?
Yes. Yes. This
Yup.
is such a tough discussion.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Oh yeah, it's here. All right. So with that being said, I'm thinking about passing on this. Not.
Come on.
We ain't passing on it. Monday Night Madness, y'all. We about to talk about Aaron Rodgers versus Drew Brees. This was a big conversation last week while I was on housing patrol with certain folks. And then I just so happened to find this. Aaron Rodgers, 1 Super Bowl ring, 2 MVP awards, only 2 losing seasons, 10-8 in the playoffs. NFL media says Aaron Rodgers only has 1 Super Bowl, and people think he's one of the greats. He's overrated, right? But Drew Brees, on the other hand, 1 Super Bowl, no MVPs, 6 losing seasons, including 3 consecutive 7-9 seasons, 8-8 in the playoffs. And the NFL media says Drew Brees has a Hall of Fame career. He's one of the greatest ever. He's so underrated. They're great. Sorry. With that being said, this song sums it up. For those who know this song, put some likes and hearts in the air if you know this song. By the way, that's getting played in the background. So, Dash, you want the Zoom code?
Great. I'm gonna say something right quick.
I told you it was gonna get hot. What do we think about this, folks? I'm gonna let Pylon and you know what? I'm gonna let Ron Thomas go first. Ron, what do you think about this?
To be honest, Drew Brees would not have that Super Bowl without the Bonnie Gate. I mean, yeah. Let's be honest. And they had not done nothing since then. Not keeping a buck, like you said, Dre.
What key players did they take out though for other teams?
Brett Favre?
Hey Ron, did the Atlanta Falcons get fined for putting artificial noise in their stadium?
Yeah. Okay. But
Okay. So,
that whole team got the head coach, the defensive coach, and the players got cut. Yes or no?
okay, but what you're
Okay.
saying is that they
So
got in trouble. You're
wait,
saying
wait,
that they got in trouble. That they got in trouble, right?
right.
And your team got in trouble. They got fined. They got in trouble for putting artificial noise in the stadium.
But once again, they're not about my team. They're about the ain'ts that cannot get right. They
Well,
cannot.
they play
That
in the same division.
the only way that they get a Super Bowl trophy is they got to knock somebody, uh, not quarterbacks out of the game. Brett Favre. And what they had done
But when
since,
was that? When he was on Minnesota?
yeah. So what they done since then, Marcus?
I mean, look, I tell you this.
Marcus, don't move
Do
the
they lose to
goalpost.
Minnesota with Brett
Don't
Favre
move
though?
the
Even
goalpost.
with Brett Favre?
Because Ron is always talking about Super Bowl.
But
Oh,
once again, how they got there, let's talk about how they got there. Let's talk about that. You don't want to talk about that part.
what I'm saying is your criteria for people are Super Bowl. It's
Okay.
hard to win a Super Bowl. There
But
are
my
very
criteria is you put a bounty on every quarterback. That's my criteria. And they had not done nothing since then.
Yeah, but only one of them was affected by it, and there really wasn't many detrimental players that were affected by it
But
in their run to the Super Bowl.
once again, did they
Out there
do
right now.
it?
Hold on, I want to put this out there right now while everybody's talking. The call line number is 716-243-5669. And yes, the call line is open right now.
That's all I just trying to say. They had not done nothing else since then.
they've gone to the
Yeah,
playoffs.
you know what? You want the current second place. You want a little
Okay,
flag?
and two of those times they basically got cheated, right? Can we agree to
Oh,
that? Can we agree that
you
the
just
Saints
said,
got cheated?
Marcus, you just said what you just said about Dallas. Sometimes you get bad calls, sometimes you get good calls.
2 years in
Yes
a
or no?
row, and then
Hey,
here's the thing about. Hang on. Here's the bad thing about it, Ron.
the,
It's not that's not a regular season game. Don't no team want to hear from the NFL competition committee. Oh, the refs made a bad call. Are bad. That doesn't help me whenever there's a clear and obvious pass interference and the
okay,
guy is.
Hold on one second, y'all. I got a caller on the line. I also want to say we got a special guest in the house, Des Carter. What's up, Des Carter?
What up?
And then I got a caller on the call line. Caller, what's up?
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing out there today? It's the one and only.
Oh, Lord
Oh,
Jesus.
here we go.
Jesus.
I had to call in because I hear Marcus over there talking to my tag team partner, saying that Drew Brees is, so good or whatever. And as my tag team partner used to tell him, Drew Brees got one Super Bowl through the bounty gate and has a whole lot of talent around him and hasn't been back to a Super Bowl yet. How was he that good?
Like I tell y'all all the time, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. You, of all people, should know that the Eagles just won one after 50, 60 years. There's only one team that goes to the Super Bowl, guys. There's only one team that wins the Super Bowl. How would we be talking about the Seattle Seahawks if stupid, if dumbass Pete Carroll doesn't runs the ball on the 1 yard line, and the Seattle Seahawks win back-to-back.
I mean, if Malcolm Butler doesn't pass
How
interfere,
are we talking about Seattle? It's hard to win a Super Bowl. If your criteria is just Super Bowls, then there's a lot of teams that aren't that good.
That's not my only criteria. Sorry to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
Drew Brees racked up a lot of 5,000-yard seasons.
he has half of them in NFL history, pretty much.
He just racked them up. I think he got about 5 of them.
He has the top 4 completion percentages of all time, season wise.
He just racked those yards up with a lot of garbage time. That's the same thing we was blaming Dak Prescott for But because it's Drew Brees, it's different.
Not to me. Des, what's up, man? What do you got to say about this?
This is funny. How do y'all feel about cereal?
Ooh.
How you feel about who?
Cereal is consistent. Am I right?
We talking about regular cereal?
I'm
Oh, you're talking about Golden Tate.
How is Aaron Rodgers overrated?
Yeah.
I never understood the claim either, honestly.
Yeah,
You're
underrated in my
you're talking
opinion.
about one quarterback
We had
who can literally make any throw.
One at a time. Go ahead.
This man can literally make any and every throw. How many Hail Marys does this man have?
We had a person come on and attack one of our fellow Rise Up guys and say with a straight face, I don't know if he was trolling. I thought Ashton Kutcher was going to jump out of the bushes. I thought Ashton Kutcher was going to jump out the bushes because we were being punked. When he said that Aaron Rodgers is a
serviceable.
What did he say? A serviceable quarterback. Somebody said that with a straight face. And I mean, we got to laugh for that for about 2 or 3 months. And he was serious. He was serious, man. I'm like, dude, like he was serious. He was serious as hell. I'm like, dude, like this is crazy. Aaron Rodgers, it's hard sometimes. Look. There's 32 teams in the NFL. There's 32 teams in the NFL. One team every year wins the Super Bowl. And then when the season starts off, you probably got like maybe what? What would you say? What would you say every year? How many teams every year have a realistic shot at winning the Super Bowl?
Probably 6 or 7.
Probably 6 or 7. Probably 6 or 7 teams, right?
Right.
Like when you look at let's just say like right now this season, how many teams right now when you look at them, and I mean, you still have to play the games if we're able to play the games. But how many teams this season do you say when you look at it, you say they have a realistic chance of winning the Super Bowl?
I think it's higher than usual, but
maybe 5.
Here's what I got to say about this whole situation. I think Drew Brees is phenomenal. I do. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think for how short he is to play like a giant at 6 foot. Most quarterbacks have problems seeing over the offensive line. We've seen plenty of quarterbacks deal with that and can't get over that. Drew Brees is one of those guys who's been able to master his craft and be able to do what he's done. 5,000 yards is phenomenal. The only thing that knocks that I have on Drew Brees is that one, he had 379 seasons. 1 and 2. The other one is the last 3 seasons. His playoffs have been absolutely either tragic, or just tragic, point blank. And it's crazy. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, I feel like these two teams are kind of similar. They've never really had great defenses in the decade. The Saints have probably had a better defense at one point or another than the Packers. And I got Mookie Hawkins calling me right now on the 1s and 2s as well.
Dre, my problem is, why you don't wait to the last minute to get a touchdown? And you had all 4 quarters to get one.
Okay, I get it. But hold on, let me finish with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers holds 6 NFL records right now. And one of them that stands out to me the most is the fact of his touchdown and interception ratio. That stands out to me the most. But by the way, I want to say that I have another guest right here on Monday Night Madness. It is your boy Mookie Hawkins, who I don't even think he knew Monday Night Madness was going on. He's here in the building with us right now. Mookie, what's up, man? What's good? So here's the question, and I have to get your response on this. Is it Aaron Rodgers or is it Drew Brees?
It's Aaron Rodgers.
And Mookie said Aaron Rodgers. So I read something to these. We had a conversation before, and maybe if you go on Facebook, I'll show this to everybody again, so everybody can see it. Aaron Rodgers, 1 Super Bowl, 2 MVP awards, only 2 losing seasons, 10-8 in the playoffs. The NFL media says Aaron Rodgers only has 1 Super Bowl. and people think he's one of the greats, man, he's overrated. That's what the NFL media says. But then you have Drew Brees on the other hand, who has 1 Super Bowl, 0 MVPs, 6 losing seasons, 3 of them consecutive 7-9 seasons, 8-8 in the playoffs, and the NFL media says Drew Brees has a Hall of Fame career. He's one of the greatest ever. So underrated. How do you feel about that?
Well, they have similar numbers, but when it comes to records, Drew Brees have all the pass records. That's where you see the Hall of Fame stuff come in. Aaron Rodgers ain't too far behind. You know, he's not too far behind as far as like those numbers. Those guys are older than Rodgers. So if you look at Rodgers in the next 4 years, he keep playing. If Drew Brees stops, Tom Brady stops after this year, and then what? Aaron Rodgers is 38?
36.
36. If they stop after this year, Aaron Rodgers could potentially be the all-time league passer if he's still playing the next 4 years. So yeah, I mean, I go with Aaron Rodgers right now, but we know Drew Brees has all the records. He has the numbers. You know what I mean? So he's going to get more people leaning towards him than Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Any more thoughts on this conversation? I mean, this one is.
I think the reason that Drew Brees gets a little bit more props than
Dennis got something to say on the 1 and 2. Dennis, what's up?
Wasn't y'all the 6th seed when y'all went to the playoffs that year?
Yeah, we was a 6th seed when we won the Super Bowl. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make sure I was correct with that.
Yeah, you're right. You're welcome. No problem.
Oh, hey,
no problem.
Jay, real quick, I got a question.
Go ahead, Des.
So which quarterback has had more to work with in their career?
Drew Brees.
Okay.
hell no.
Has he though?
Michael Thomas.
Has he though?
Michael Thomas.
And
Jordy Nelson,
and Marquise Colston.
Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones.
So here's what I'll say. I think the answer is Aaron Rodgers offensively. But let's be
I had a second part to that question.
Hold on, let's be mindful though that defense wins championships, and Drew Brees has had in the last decade at least 4 seasons where he's had top 10 defense. Let's be clear on that. I just want to put that out there.
Let's not forget about San Diego Drew Brees.
Oh, and let's not forget.
And that, I mean, but that definitely was going to bring me to my next question. How many times has Aaron Rodgers had a top 15 defense in his career?
Not many at all. And in fact, I want to say, so I gave up a stat earlier in another show in which last year, Aaron Rodgers played game manager, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 4,000 yards, and against everybody else except for California teams and the Eagles last year, the Packers, with just a pass rush, gave up 17.1 points per game. In those 4 losses that they had all year last year, 33.5 to the losers, to the teams they lost to. Again, proving Aaron Rodgers has not had much of a defense at all. You give Aaron Rodgers a little pass rush, and Aaron Rodgers can be game manager and still go 13-3 with a first-year coach. Okay,
game manager, ooh,
who is run heavy to begin with. Last I checked, the same coach who coaches Green Bay is the person who put Derrick Henry on the mat. Hello. Just want to put that out there, just in case if you forgot. Now, here's what I'll say in a nutshell. We're gonna go to the next topic, folks, because we're gonna be on this all day. We already an hour and 5 minutes in.
Both are top 5.
Let's go to the next topic. Yeah, they're both top 5 to me, definitely. All right, moving right along. We got a quick commercial. too much. We'll be back. Let's get this fire started. Sports became my passion. Time will bring it to life, highlighting all the action. Opinions could explode like a chemical reaction. If we started from the bottom, now rise up, the newest caption. And it's known that every team and every person got an emphasis. But there's a similarity that trumps all of our differences. Statements can get real, better back it up with evidence. Prove it for the record, watch this hour of deliverance. Haters outside the lines, but we do it quite frankly. Cause I'm around the horn, so it's hard to interrupt it. Cause I hate that they be threatened. Cause the unwanted production, plus I gotta do it all. And it ain't up for discussion, man. And blood, sweat, and tears, man, they measure up my putting too much into it. Yeah. Let's get this fire started. Sports became my passion. Time will bring it to life, highlighting all the action. Opinions could explode like a chemical reaction. If we started from the bottom, now rise up, the newest caption. Man, it's known that every team and every person got an emphasis. But there's a similarity that trumps all of our differences. Statements can get real, better back it up with evidence. Prove it for the record, watch this hour of deliverance. Haters outside the lines, but we do it quite frankly. Cause I'm around the horn, so it's hard to interrupt it. Cause I hate that they be threatened. Cause the unwanted production. That's right. Shout out to everybody that watches the Bills Mafia show, the Buffalo Bills edition to Rise Up Early. Make sure you tune into that every Sunday morning, 8:30, taped on Facebook Live in the morning. And then come get it again on the OnPoint network right at 10. You can get it at 10:30. Yep, you've seen it right there. Every Sunday before Bills games, you'll be able to watch. All right, the Buffalo Bills. So shout out to the Bills Mafia and everybody that supports the Buffalo Bills and the NFL in a session. We got more topics to get into, folks. I just want to ask before we continue. Yo, everybody enjoying the show real quick? I just want to know, everybody enjoying the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. TC Casey said the Bills will be irrelevant by week 9. Boy, oh boy. Listen, I done told TC about that. He'll watch his mouth talking about those Bills. All right. Moving right along to the next topic at hand. Oh, yeah. It don't get no easier from here. It don't get no easier. It don't get no easier from here, folks. I told you this show was going to be hot from start to finish. Now, I want to know from everybody in the building.
Fire starter. He's on that fire starter stuff right now.
Starting the fire. All right. Listen.
Now, Dre, question. Is this assuming they all stay healthy?
Yes, all of them stay healthy. Yes.
Okay, then I have my order already.
I got mine too.
You got to start one, bench one, cut one. And thank you, Melissa, for always supporting. And yes, Ramona, you too. I appreciate you. Listen, starting with Marcus the Alphabets, I'm giving you 1 minute and no more. Everybody get 1 minute on this fire starter. You got to pick it, and you got to do it fast. Let's go. Marcus Betts, you're first to go.
I'm starting Hopkins. I'm benching Julio, and I'm cutting Michael Thomas.
Whoa! And explain. I need explanation. Give it up.
Because I have seen DeAndre Hopkins have 1,100, 1,200 yard seasons with trash quarterbacks. Those other two wide receivers are playing with potentially Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And DeAndre Hopkins is still doing his thing. And I expect him to have an even better season this season with Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray will be the comeback player of the game. Julio, I give him the slight nod over Michael Thomas. The only concern that I have with Julio is that his health. But when Julio is healthy, he is one of the most dynamic receivers in the history of the NFL. And I think Michael Thomas is a product of the system. He just gets a lot of targets. He gets a bunch of targets, and that's why his numbers are up there. And you got to catch it. Do you know that DeAndre Hopkins didn't drop a pass last year? Does everybody know that he did not drop one single pass last year? Not one. 0. Not one drop pass. So that's my order right there.
Ron Thomas.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Marcus in the same order.
Wow.
Ron, you've been around me too long. I'm starting to rub off on you, Ron.
And
Yes.
Easy. Julio's first. Hands down. Second would be DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm easily cutting Michael Thomas.
Pylon
This
and
was
the pylon.
easy. This was easy. This was too easy. Julio. I didn't watch Jerry Rice play. I didn't really watch Randy Moss play. I did watch Calvin Johnson, and Julio always came second to Calvin Johnson when Calvin was in the league. So now that Calvin's gone, he's easily the best receiver. He's physically gifted.
He's always injured though.
That is true. That is true.
Julio been having toe problems since college.
But that's why I asked Dre, assuming they all stay healthy.
Right.
Pylon to pylon. Jared, where you at? We're going to have to T-Mobile him to get him back in. All right. Well, I'll go. I will go. But I will go by starting to read the comments first. Dalton said, start Thomas, bench Hopkins, cut Julio. Julio healthy. Marcus Betts even said it. When healthy, he's a beast. When healthy, that's what Dre said. Yep, absolutely. Rocky, what up? What up, Rocky Wilkins? What's up? Ramona says, start D-Hop, bench Julio, cut Michael Thomas. Rocco says, start Julio, bench Hopkins, cut Thomas. Okay. Cut Julio, he's the oldest. Watch this. Y'all not gonna like me. And I'm about to get real ignorant thinking on this one. Dennis, the man Holmes.
We got Dennis in the house. We got another ignorant thinker in the house.
This is for you. I've been a little ignorant, but Dennis Holmes definitely puts the ignorant in ignorant thinking. For sure. I don't understand how in the HE double hockey sticks y'all all cut Michael Thomas. Are you kidding? Julio Jones is starting. Michael Thomas is getting benched. And Julio's on the cut. Julio's the oldest, so I'm cutting him.
Wait, I've been cutting him.
D-Hop is starting. D-Hop is starting because D-Hop has performed exceptionally well with every quarterback that you throw in front of him. Every quarterback that you throw in front of his face. So, yes, D-Hop is starting. Here's why I'm benching Michael and cutting Julio. Ready? Tell me who Michael Thomas's second receiver has ever been. I'll wait. What the? Matter of fact, in the words of Rod Thomas, the people waiting. Yeah, Michael Thomas just puts up numbers, astronomical numbers every year, and he's the only real Tyree in New Orleans. I mean, 149 catches last year. Are you kidding me? The guy has put up 4 1,000-yard seasons. Mike Evans did the same. He's in the same category as Mike Evans, and Mike Evans has had another receiver on the other side. Julio's had Calvin Ridley, and when he didn't have Calvin Ridley, I forgot he had Roddy White before that too. So yeah, Michael Thomas is definitely a bench. Julio's getting cut because he's the oldest. I like Julio, but he don't score touchdowns either, all like that either. Bing bang, bang bang.
No, but hey, he's not throwing the ball to himself.
And once again, Michael Thomas also cry on the field. Do Julio cry?
It's hard
Why would you want a crybaby?
That's true.
So you got a guy who cries on the field and a guy who misses six, and another one who misses 6 or 7 games every season. I mean,
yes, I cut 5 too.
I think Julio's the more gifted. Julio Julio Jones coming out of Alabama was a unicorn. He was a unicorn. You know, 6'4", 4.3 speed, great hands. I mean, his issue is I'm reading the comments. Everybody just saying, if it wasn't for injuries, Julio Jones would be
Right.
up. I take injuries into consideration. Y'all hear me say it all the time, and I'll say it again. The best ability is availability. I don't care how good you are. If you're always in the ice tub, you're no good to me.
Yeah, crying is passion, brother. Passion. It don't make him less of a man or a football player. Woo!
I did not say that.
T.O. cried. That's my quarterback.
Yeah. That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
All right, we moving to the next one. Y'all ready? Melissa said the Crybaby Award goes to Tom Brady. But we moving to the next one.
Well, it's a tie with that one.
More fire starting.
You trying to do something right here, Dre.
You gotta start one, bench one, cut one. Uh-oh. And I'm looking at Marcus Betts' face because Marcus Betts might So guess who I'm gonna start with again? Because the anticipation is just growing. Marcus, the alphabet, sir. You got 1 minute. You gotta start one, bench one, cut one.
Okay, I just got a quick question for the panel. Which out of these three running backs, which one of them has 2 rushing titles? Just ask me, just real quick.
I think Zeke, ain't it?
Okay, yeah, he does. I was just putting out. I'm going Zeke. I'm starting Zeke. I'm benching Henry, and I'm cutting Saquon. And the reason why, just like I said, Zeke, 2-time rushing champion, and would have had a third if he wouldn't have missed 6 games for a suspension. Last season, he was 5th in the league with 1,300 yards. 1,300 yards and in 5th place last year. Okay? The guy's good for 1,300 yards every season. He's going to score touchdowns. He's picked up catching the ball. They're turning him more into that. And then now what you see with them picking up CeeDee Lamb, he's going to have even more room to run because you're not going to be able to put 8 in the box. Henry, just because he's a unicorn. And the only reason I'm putting Saquon, I would put Saquon at number 1 if he wasn't injury prone, but he's injury prone. I take durability and health into consideration when I make any list. If you're always hurt, if you miss games all the time, you are not going to be at the top of my list. Derrick Henry, and I like Derrick Henry because he's a unicorn. There's nothing like him. When I saw him spin around Earl Thomas in that playoff game, he just impressed me. Now he's not the catcher that either one of these guys, but as a pure runner, a downhill runner, a punishing, bruising runner, that's Derrick Henry. So I'm going Zeke, Derrick Henry, and I'm cutting Barkley just because of health concern.
I'm doing Henry, Zeke, and I cut Saquon.
Why?
You just said he cannot stay healthy. And when Henry get tired, I got Zeke to come in.
Okay. What everybody else got?
Yes.
I've been staring at this picture since you put it up. This is tough. This is tough, man. But I'm gonna start Saquon. He's young. He's young and he's willing to learn how to block. I'm gonna cut Zeke. I'm gonna cut Zeke. Just because he's had a pro offensive line. And Derrick Henry, I guess I gotta bench him because he's not gonna be able to catch the ball like the other two.
Ooh. So,
but I'll definitely take someone who's young and eager to learn to block rather than 2 veterans who ain't willing to throw his shoulder out there.
So, young man Des, you done started something here because I'm about to do another episode of ignorant thinking.
Can I say something to Dave?
Go ahead, real quick.
Dave, is you drinking tonight?
Nah,
I can't tell.
All right. This is what I'm going to say in a nutshell. I am starting Derrick Henry. And here's why I'm starting Derrick Henry. And I'm going to put this out there. For those who do not understand that Derrick Henry is was one of the only weapons on the Tennessee Titans, sir, yeah. That offensive line is nowhere near the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. The quarterback play is nowhere near the quarterback play of Dak Prescott. So, offensively, Dallas is head and shoulders better than Tennessee ever has been in the last couple of seasons. So I want you to just envision this for a second. Put Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup in that offensive line with Jason Witten, Barlow as the tight ends. And I mean, Jason Witten's one hell of a blocking tight end, by the way. Don't front on him. Stop it, Marcus. I see you front.
He's an okay blocker, but he runs like a 6-second 40.
That's okay. And he's one of the greatest tight ends to play the game. You give that to the Tennessee Titans and tell me what Derrick Henry would do with that. I think Derrick Henry is going to prove to the league this year again that the last 2 years is the reason why you've been paying attention. He single-handedly beat the New England Patriots and mind you, the team after. Does anybody remember the team after?
Baltimore.
That's right. That would be the Baltimore Ravens, right?
Dre, time out real quick.
Wait. I wonder, do Earl Thomas having nightmares about Derrick Henry?
Probably still having nightmares.
I'm just saying.
Still having nightmares about it. Derrick Henry is starting, and he's the more physical back as well. Durability is on point. Hasn't been suspended. Isn't a media circus either at all. Zeke is getting benched, and Saquon, unfortunately, because he can't stay healthy, is getting cut. Unfortunately, if Saquon could stay healthy, though,
he'd be number one, right?
Zeke would be the one getting cut, and Saquon would be getting benched because Saquon, I'm telling you, if you've seen this guy run, he has phenomenal footwork. I think he is a generational talent still on that sorry, dismal Giants team. Sorry. I just want to put that out there. So it's start Henry, bench Zeke, unfortunately, and cut Saquon. And pylon to pylon still and that's pylon to pylon, by the way. Moving forward to the next one. Oh, yeah. Ramona Die. I know you around. Shout out to the diehard MVP for this one. Did these quarterbacks go in the right order? Eli Manning, number 1, Phillip Rivers, 4, Ben Roethlisberger, 11. I'm giving you 1 minute to explain it. Starting with Marcus Betts. Did they go in the right order?
Well, yeah, they went the right. Let's not forget what Eli was at Ole Miss. Phillip Rivers, there was kind of a knock on him as far as his throwing motion, which is still terrible. I mean, he's accurate, but his throwing motion is just he's got that Bernie Kosar side release, and a lot of people were questioning would he be able to get his passes off because of the release point. And Ben Roethlisberger, he dropped because of the issues in college and because he went to a small school. He went to Miami of Ohio. So yes, I don't think that Ben Roethlisberger is the. And for the record, I think Ben Roethlisberger is the best quarterback out of that draft. But the reason he was able to mature was because he went to a team that was already made. The one bad thing about going number one or number two or whatever is you're going to a terrible team. You're going to an absolutely terrible team. Now think about if Joe Burrow went like a 10 or 11 this season. I don't know who went like 10 or 11, but I know they're better than the Cincinnati Bengals. You understand what I'm saying? So that was the advantage for Ben Roethlisberger going to a franchise like the Steelers that was able to groom him, because Ben Roethlisberger wasn't the quarterback that he back then he was. He didn't have the hype that the other two had coming in. But yeah, Eli Manning was the better pro prospect coming in. So yeah, I believe that they went in the right order.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. Pylon to pylon.
I was writing in the notes, by the way. I just was on a phone call, so I couldn't talk.
Oh, good.
So I was muted. We're talking about, just real quick, at the running backs. Saquon, you claim he's hurt. Why? Like, specifically, Marcus, you claim you would, if he was healthy, you would start him. So why wouldn't you just start him, and then if he gets hurt, you have Zeke on the bench? What's the difference?
No, I'm just saying when they do those comparisons like that, I'm looking at like that's going to be your franchise back. That's going to be your franchise. Durability to me is a big thing. Durability is a big thing. I don't trust. I can't trust you. I can't make my game plan around you because you're always hurt. Durability, I think that's something you always have to take into consideration with any position. If you have a quarterback who's always hurt, do you want to really go out there and spend a number one or number two pick on him? Carson Wentz. Do you really want to go out there and spend, if you go out there and you go out there and you spend a high draft pick on a person who's never there, then guess what? Then a few years later, you're drafting a quarterback in the second round, Jalen Hurts. You're drafting a guy like that early when you shouldn't have to, but they're doing it. Why did they draft Jalen Hurts? I'm asking you that.
Don't ask me why we did most of our draft picks the last decade.
No.
I'm the wrong one to ask about that.
Why did you draft Jalen Hurts?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I really don't know.
Answer it for you.
It never made sense at one point in my lifetime.
They drafted Jalen Hurts. I'll answer it for you. You know the answer, but I'll answer it for you. They drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round because Carson Wentz can't ever stay healthy. That's why they did it.
Well, I think it's just this is a start cut bench scenario. I mean, either way, if you put one of those if you think Saquon's actually the best, which I think he's for sure the best running back there, the most versatile, just overall best. I don't know why you wouldn't just start him and then you still have a franchise running back on the bench anyways if he gets hurt, which is the issue at hand. Why
risk it when I can have two running backs there?
You don't need two elite running backs though.
You're right. You're right. So I'm going to go with the guy who I know never gets hurt. Zeke has never missed a game because of injury.
It's a fair argument. I get it. Health is definitely a big thing. I would just start Zeke.
You would start Zeke. You would start Zeke, and then who would be on the bench?
Let's get on to the quarterbacks. These quarterbacks, Pylon. Where you at, Pylon? Come on back in here. Oh, he left again. All right. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say this. Ben Roethlisberger got dropped because of character issues, because he had some issues before getting in the NFL. So I think it's Ben Roethlisberger 1. Phillip Rivers should. Well, we already know the swap really technically should have been Phillip 1, Manning 4. So I'm gonna say it's backwards of what this is. It says Eli 1, Phillip 4, Ben 11. It should have been Ben 1, Phillip 4, Eli 11. That's what I honestly think. Because I watched Eli at Ole Miss and they didn't win no national championship either.
Dre, I would say Eli first, Big Ben second, Rivers third.
Okay.
And because Rivers, every time he played Tom Brady, he choked.
I wouldn't. He almost beat Tom Brady on a torn ACL. He played 3 quarters on a torn ACL and almost beat Tom Brady
The what we going
with a much worse team.
The what we going about now? The what we talking about?
He had a torn ACL for 3 quarters.
Almost.
He had a torn ACL for 3 quarters on his plant
Super Bowl.
or on his plant leg.
My Falcons
serious?
almost won the Super Bowl, but did we win it? No. Once
He
again,
played on a torn ACL on his plant leg.
almost.
He couldn't plant back to throw the ball, and he still almost beat them.
How long he been with the Chargers?
For a long, pretty much since they got rid of Breeze, like 2 years after that. So I think it was like what was this? 05? 04.
Okay, so he never beat Tom Brady in the playoffs, right?
I think he actually did once, if I'm not mistaken. He might not have, but I think he did. And he almost beat him on a torn ACL for 3 quarters. Like, do you understand how crazy that is on his plant leg that he had a torn ACL and played 3 quarters of that and almost beat Tom Brady, prime Patriots Tom Brady team? That's ridiculous. You can't hold that against him.
Chuck Thomas said JP Losman to the Steelers.
I think Rivers was the best of these 3, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. Brett is back. No shirt, Brett.
Man, it's too hot over here, bro. And my central air ain't even working.
All right. Brett, who would you have taken? Is this order correct?
No.
Okay, so who's your order real quick before we move on?
Big Ben, Eli Phillip.
Okay.
You would take Big Ben number 1?
Why not?
Well, here's what people also have to understand. You have to take into consideration where they would have went. How would Big Ben Roethlisberger have been in New York? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, when you're changing all this, you have to look at like where they're going.
Rivers was supposed to play for the Giants. He was the first pick technically.
Are you using the Daniel Jones effect in this situation?
Yeah. I mean, look, I say it all the time. Where you play matters. And going to New York City, everybody ain't made to play in New York City. They're just not.
Everybody ain't meant to play in Dallas neither.
We always come.
But
we're talking about focus, Brett.
I'm gonna say something.
Brett.
If Big Ben would have went to New York, he still would have won 2 Super Bowls.
Would he have?
All right, let me bring up a question.
Let me respond.
And what if Sambu was drafted ahead of Jordan?
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Where you get drafted matters. Where you end up matters. Now, let's not forget. Do we remember when Ben Roethlisberger nearly died on a motorcycle accident?
Yeah.
Do we remember that? Now,
I remember some other stuff too.
Now you think about him with the publicity and the fame that you get in New York City. How much trouble early in his career? We're not talking about Ben Roethlisberger, 38 years old right now. We're talking about 20-year-old, 21-year-old Ben Roethlisberger playing for the New York Giants with the mentality that he had back then. Would you still have taken Ben Roethlisberger with the number 1 pick? Because we've seen guys with maturity issues get drafted number 1, and Johnny Manziel, guys in the first round, Johnny Manziel, Brian Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, guys that get drafted early in their career, with the number 1 pick with maturity issues, and they get there and they go to a big city and they flame out fast because you got to have a certain mentality and a certain maturity. That's why a lot of these general managers be getting fired, because it's like if you go and draft somebody and you're not sure about it, hey, this guy's got maturity issues, and you draft him number 1 and he flames out, right after they cut him, they're gonna fire you.
All right. So, Des.
I think the order was right.
Okay.
At the time, yeah, this order was right.
All right. So
I would have went Rivers
So with
won.
that being said, so Eli should have stayed in San Diego then.
Eli never wanted to play with San Diego.
Yeah,
No, Archie didn't want Eli's.
Eli didn't want to play either. They wanted to play for the Giants.
Daddy didn't want him to play for San Diego because his dad's career.
Eli told them before he even drafted him. He told them on draft night. He's like, if you draft me, I am not playing for you. Yeah. That's why he got traded. He told him, I'm not. And because we've seen quarterbacks in the past like John Elway, they tell people, look, I'm not playing for you. If you draft me, I'm going to go play baseball. So, I mean, that's why that happened right there. That's the only reason Eli ended up in New York, because he was a more pro-ready quarterback in college. He was a more pro-ready quarterback in college, and he could basically dictate where he wanted to go.
Yeah, like
let me raise a question.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the Lions had the #1 pick that year, and he said, "No, I'm not being drafted by the Lions. I'm going back to college." I cannot remember the quarterback's name.
Let me raise a question. How many rings in New York does Philip Rivers get in Eli Manning's position, and how many does he get in Ben Roethlisberger's position?
Man, to be honest, I think
Philip Rivers is the best quarterback out of these three.
I think Rivers will have 2.
What?
Go ahead.
If you look at what the Giants' defense, what they had over the years.
Yeah, but look at what Philip Rivers. Let's not get it twisted. Philip Rivers has played on some awesome teams.
He's played on some good teams, definitely, for sure.
Are we forgetting who Phillips Rivers? Are we forgetting who his coach was early in his career? Marty Schottenheimer, the choke artist.
15-1. He was 15-1. He got fired after being 15-1.
14-2, Marcus. Don't give him away.
I'm sorry. I'm one game. 14-2.
That's right.
14-2.
But Marty always dropped the ball as a coach in the playoffs.
Here's why it matters. Ben Roethlisberger went 15-1. That's why it matters. Rivers went 14-2.
I'm just saying that Philip Rivers has always had good. He had Antonio Gates his whole career, a Hall of Fame tight end, a Hall of Fame running back.
Absolutely,
are you talking about LaDainian Tomlinson?
A lot of the players he had were
he had LaDainian Tomlinson. He had LaDainian Tomlinson. He had Darren Sproles. He's had Melvin Gordon. I mean, come on, man. Austin Eckler. He's had Michael the Burner Turner.
Besides Vincent, a handful of guys.
He had Vincent Jackson. He's had Keenan Allen. I mean, this guy, he's got Hunter. He had Hunter Henry for a couple of years. This guy has had all work. He had Sean Merriman. Do you remember Sean Merriman? Lights out.
Lights out. Mm-hmm.
He's had Joey Bosa. He's had Antonio Cromartie. I mean, come on, dude. This dude.
You also have to look at the time in which all these players were on the team and the injuries they've had during this time. They've been a very injured team.
Instead of Drew Brees.
Say what?
What happened?
And they decided they wanted Philip Rivers instead of Drew Brees.
No, they got rid of Drew Brees because Drew Brees had a near career-ending shoulder injury.
Yeah.
That's why they got rid of him. They thought his career was over. He tore his shoulder up, and Drew Brees. That's why people give Drew Brees so much, because they thought his career was over. I mean, and there were people bidding for Drew Brees, to include the Cowboys and the Dolphins, and Sean Payton just happened to pick him up. But we weren't talking about Drew Brees like this when he left.
He wasn't that productive there.
No, when he left, when Drew Brees left San Diego, no one was clamoring saying Drew Brees is going to be the all-time leading passer. They didn't know if he'd throw another pass in his career.
True.
Right, but let's also remember 2 seasons later, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Horn led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns.
I understand that. We're playing hindsight is 20. What I'm saying is, when Drew Brees left San Diego, there wasn't all of this. Oh, Drew Brees is going to be this Hall of Fame quarterback.
Okay, so with that being said, Mookie, I want you to comment on this real quick, and then I want to give a recap of what we talked about during the show for those who are just tuned in, and then we're gonna get into a couple more topics because we got 15 minutes left in the show. All right, Mookie.
Yeah.
Real quick, did they go right? Eli 1, Phillip 4, Ben 11.
In the draft?
Yes.
Yeah. They went right.
Okay.
They went right.
All right.
I mean, you know, everybody still want to give my man Eli some flack. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, man, when you coming behind your older brother Peyton Manning, man. So yeah, they did all right. He up there. I mean, you could argue for Ben, but they got it right in the draft. I mean, Ben could have went like higher than what he went, but at that point in time, he fell in Pittsburgh's lap at the right spot. So they had it right. I have no problem with those draft selections and with those quarterbacks in that order.
Ramona Dye said something real interesting. She said, well, start with the career records. Ben Roethlisberger holds a clear edge. Ben Roethlisberger, 144, 71, and 1. Rivers, 123 and 101. Eli Manning, 117 and 117. Huh. All right.
Hey, I mean, you know, to go what, 11? He was 11, right? He was 11 pick overall in that draft.
Hey, Ben has 2 rings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
Eli got 2 and Ben has 2. Okay.
Coming from, you know, Miami of Ohio, man, that's great. So, I mean, I'm cool with that draft. You gotta look at it, man. Eli was the shit coming out of college, man. He was the
Exactly.
bread.
That's what I was saying, Luke.
You know what I mean? You gotta get that
Tell
up.
them what conference. Tell them what conference that is now.
What? Miami, Ohio?
Yes.
The MAC.
The MAC.
The MAC. Now the MAC produced some dogs. It's just that it's the MAC.
It's the MAC.
That's all. It is just the MAC.
Like Khalil, man.
I don't have no problem with that order. Eli, Phil, and Ben. I don't have no problem with that order at all. I understand the numbers, but at the end of the day, Eli was the shit coming out of college that year. He was the shit to the point where he forced to trade. He forced him. I'm not going there, and they made that work. So,
and when you got a father like he do,
true. You know what I mean?
Right, so Ben has been the
proud. He did the family name proud. I ain't mad at that.
Ben has been to the most Super Bowls, by the way. He's been to 3. Now, it's interesting that we said MAC conference because next week on Monday Night Madness, I'm giving you a little hint right now. I am going to have a simulation in which we are going to take votes on which teams would win. Now, what I'm doing is I'm taking all the great players from the MAC conference, all the great players from the SEC, all the great players from the Big 12, all the great players from the Pac-12, and I'm going to
Big 10 wins.
In the Big 10 as well. I'm going to create a tournament. I'm going to give you the names of those players the greatest players that came from.
When are we organizing it?
We're gonna organize them after Monday Night Madness.
I need a word in this.
So
you gotta wait.
I just love how some people be bragging about Michigan and the Big 10 and all of that when it comes to college and all of that basketball.
What team do you root for?
And you claim the San Francisco 49ers for your pro team, but you'll claim everything Michigan except the Detroit Lions. Why is that?
I think your pot Mr. Popcorn.
So, with that being said,
And what's your point? That's the teams I root for. It has nothing to do with your prerogative.
So let's move on.
Because I grew up and
we're talking college. We're talking.
Let's do new topic. New topic.
This on the vault.
Can we do a review real quick of what we talked about today? I just want to do a review. The review is as follows: we did a start 1, bench 1, cut 1 fire starter on the running backs: Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, Derrick Henry.
I want Mookie's take on that running. Can you put that running back board back up? Do we have time for that or no?
What did he say?
Give me a second. I will put it back up as soon as I
want to hear what Mookie. I want to hear what Mookie got to say about this. I need to hear from Mook on this one here. I need your expertise on this one.
Where is it? Which one was it?
Hold on a second, Mook. I'll bring it right back up.
I need the WUFO Sports.
I need the WUFO Sports report.
I need the WUFO Sports report on this one here.
All right.
Like what for? What for? What for? WUFO. What for? Swag it out. Like what for, motherfucker? What for? What for?
Okay. My bad. My
All
bad.
right. So here's another fire starter. Start one, bench one, cut one, wide receivers: Julio Jones, D Hop, and Michael Thomas. All right. We also talked about a couple of other things, but I'm going to make sure everybody can see what we talked about because I want you to see it. All right. So this is what else we talked about earlier in the show. We also talked about Aaron Rodgers versus Drew Brees. We talked about that. And we talked about Patrick Mahomes earlier as well. We talked about NFL standings for the decade. You see it there.
I know what's name was happy to see that Philly edging Dallas, huh?
We talked about Patrick Mahomes. Would he be a Hall of Famer if he was to retire today? And obviously, you know, the blockbuster news. Patrick Mahomes, $503 million.
$500 million.
Baseball contracts.
That's insane.
Million.
You know how everybody say a milli. We gotta say a billy. Half a billy.
Goodness.
All right.
Before tax.
With that being said, I'm gonna go back to this real quick.
He's gonna go from franchise quarterback to franchise owner.
He's gonna lose a whole lot of that money to taxes. That's the worst part.
And just for the record, that's why a lot of people come to play in to Texas.
Yeah, there's no state tax.
No state taxes. That's another. I'm just putting that out there.
I knew that.
He's alluding to Jamal Adams.
That's one factor that decided in when the Houston Rockets signed away Howard years ago.
It's a tough one.
State income tax, $100 million. $100 million look a whole lot different.
Start one, bench one, cut one. Saquon, Zeke, or King Henry.
Come on, Moose.
Zeke.
Come on, Moose.
Henry. And Zeke's got to go.
I'm going to. I mean, what are we basing this on? Like just the player, or are we basing this? I don't want to like say something. Then somebody gonna throw some numbers and shit at me and all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like because they ain't come in at the same time. All right, they ain't come in at the same time. So what are we basing this on before I make a decision? Marcus, can you elaborate?
It's I mean, there's no real criteria.
Cut one. Ain't no.
It's how you
the whole package.
How
the whole
you feel.
package
Like,
for each one.
With what you've seen on tape and what you've seen, you know, out of their career so far, where are you going? It's just, I mean, it's how you feeling. Gut check.
I mean, well, damn. I mean, looking at their career, I mean, there is some injury history with all three. But I mean, they are dogs. Depends on, you know, your scheme of things and how you like to run your offense. But right now, I will start Saquon. I will bench Zeke.
Go.
Hello? And Derrick Henry.
Let's go.
You would start Saquon over Zeke.
Let's go.
Yeah.
With his injury history.
I'm going to start Saquon because Saquon, I know that he's reliable. I know that Saquon does not go to the club and kiss some girl titties and jeopardize not being on the team. Like that's a red flag. Like I don't know what he gonna do after we done kicked on the Philadelphia Eagles. He might go out and celebrate too hard where he gonna miss a few games. You know what I mean? Like he's
or he might get high on.
Him and Saquon to me are kind of like the same type of player. Saquon is a little bit more fast. But if that's the only reason,
a lot better catcher.
If he didn't have that, if Zeke didn't have that extra baggage with him, I'll be starting Zeke and I'll be benching Saquon. Reason why I got Derrick Henry off is that, you know, he's a liability on third down, even though they do throw those little screens to him. You know, he can't help you in the passing block game. But I'm talking about a player that can put the ball in his hands on third down and he can make something do with it. But you know,
Saquon's a lot better of a pass catcher too.
All right, so moving on. Now that Mookie answered the question, we moving on. We got this next topic coming up, and you got to be really quick because there's about 7 minutes left, and I got 2 commercials to go through again. All right. Would you rather be a star player for a top FCS team or be a bench player for a top FBS team? Be quick. I should put the Jeopardy music on.
As a freshman?
Do I got a backstory to this, or is it just solely this?
Is this as a freshman?
There's a reason why guys go to FCS schools. When you look at maybe they were good and they just didn't get any looks. You look at a guy like Carson Wentz. You look at a guy like Josh Allen playing at Wyoming. You know, it's a small. You're not going to get that exposure.
Yeah, Wentz is from there, so he just stayed there. That's what.
By the way, I want to shout out to Mighty Oba who's watching right now. Pat Freeman, what's up? Pat Freeman is in the building watching as well. I'm taking out FCS.
No, I want to be a bench player on a FBS because you're going to get your chance. Like whoever comes behind Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma or Tua at Alabama, like you're sitting behind this guy. When you go out there, every season you got a chance to go win a college championship. You're not going to get too much of anything with FCS. I'm just saying.
So Sharon said she would have started Zeke, benched Barkley, cut Henry, and Ramona said start Zeke, bench Barkley, and cut Henry so he could come to the Steelers. Said different set of backs. Sharon said you basing this on baggage. Wow.
Melissa said, yeah, I'm basing this on baggage.
Yeah, man, baggage is key when you build a team.
The best ability is availability.
Thank you. So why are you picking
damn.
How are you picking Saquon Barkley over Zeke?
Because then he just has Zeke on the bench anyways.
Because Saquon's issue is just nagging little injuries. Saquon is not going to go party in New York and get arrested.
It's not nagging injuries.
Well, okay. Well, I'm taking.
He's also a freak of nature, like AP. Like he can have a serious injury and come right back.
All right.
He got COVID right now.
For this though,
yeah.
I'm easily going.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. You're right, man.
I'm easily going star player on an FCS team because I can play instead of sitting on the bench on an FBS team. I can play 2 years at an FCS team, shine, show that I'm a really high talent, and then go and just start.
Is this quarterback? When we talk about this,
any position,
is any position?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going FBS. I'm not going FCS. Name any hot boy FCS receiver or running back that went top 10. That went.
Well, I wouldn't be staying there the whole career. I played 2 years there. Depending on what team I was looking at in the FBS, I'd play however many years there, and then I would transfer to an FBS team.
See, that goes
so
into
I would have a full
then.
college, different levels.
That's not the question. that's not what the question was.
Well, that's why if you're going in as a freshman, it's an option.
Right, it's an option, but that's a good.
Well, you gotta look at teams.
That's what I'm saying.
When you look, okay, and that's the answer to your question.
The transfer portal is just ridiculous these days.
No, everything that you just said, right? A player from an FBS school is not going to do all that. He's going to be in the league in 2-3 years. He's not waiting to senior.
It depends where he's going, though, too. A lot of people sit the bench for their first couple of years.
That stayed in college to their senior year? Name them. That's been a top 10 pick.
Wisconsin's only had 2 in the last 2 decades or something.
Right. So I'm going to FBS. I'm not going to FCS. Now you got to be a guy like Carson Wentz, who's dominated, who's broke records, who pretty much probably played at FBS school early on in the season, probably upsetted them, something like that. That's how you're going to get your recognition. Like Khalil Mack don't become Khalil Mack if they don't play against Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? If they don't play against Ohio State, then Khalil Mack don't go top 5. You know what I mean? He still be a first-round pick. But that game alone solidified Khalil Mack.
I think Khalil Mack would be a top 5 pick wherever he went.
He would have had a lot less.
But that Ohio State game,
he would have had if he was on Ohio State at that time. He would have had a lot less tape.
All right, so we have ran out of time, folks. I know when it gets real, but we are a 2-hour show. We have ran out of time.
Well, Drake, I'm gonna ride the bench.
Say it again.
I'm gonna ride the bench.
Look at Oklahoma. How many people rode the bench and won the Heisman year after year, year after year, or whatever? Like I'm going FBS.
I mean, you look at those Alabama backs. You're sitting back. You're sitting behind Mark Ingram. You sit behind Mark Ingram, then you get your shot. Eddie Lacy.
I got an Alabama workout tape, and all those backs is there. Like, what's the name? Trent Richardson was like had a red shirt on. Like, he wasn't even they. That's how deep they running back core. It was Ingram. It was what's the man with the Green Bay?
Eddie Lacy.
TJ
Yelp.
Right. All them was in practice. I got the tape. I still use that tape to train my kids with during running back drills. All those running backs. We talking Heisman to top pick. So you're right. That's what I'm going with, Marcus. Right. That's right there. That's it right there.
All right. So in a nutshell, we have surpassed our 2 hour mark, in which I'm going to show you real quick what else we didn't talk about today, and we'll talk about it next week. Again, I'm drawing up a tournament for next week. FBS players from each conference, best players, and we're going to talk about who would win that game, offense and defense. And then also, we didn't get into this today, but we will next week, as I had it hooked up.
Oh, okay.
Derrick Rose, we had Derrick Rose conversation about none of these three down here would have messed with Derrick Rose if he wouldn't have got injured. And, of course, who has the best nickname in NBA history? You see him. The Black Mamba, Greek Freak, the Mailman.
So
are these the only options?
The Dream. Yep. The Answer. The Glove. Dr. J. The Truth. Air Jordan. Pistol Pete. The Big Ticket. King James. Next week, you guys will rank them from 1 to 12.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. As there's a reason why this show is called Monday Night Madness. And that's because we keep you guessing, we keep you thinking with the hottest of sports topics. Be there and be square next week.